Hi, people, and hello, my chili con carnage crew, and welcome to an episode of Live Listen Erased. And I have with me a plethora of guests for this very special episode. Everyone, I'd like to welcome many people on screen that you can see here. Let's start with, well, Hector. You have been on this before.
I
Hector's
have.
Hector's from Chill Dude on the Couch. Many might recognize him from the Godsmack episode that we did before. Hector, how are you today?
I'm good, and I'm glad that I didn't have to listen to a Godsmack record.
We chose these ones in particular order. We will discuss that a little later on, of course. But we have two special guests for their first time appearance on the channel. I would like to welcome JC Rock and Metal Reviews. A long time we have been discussing many things. First time
Yes.
on the channel.
Yes, I know. We've talked about this for a while, so yeah, I'm ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah, we are just we have, for those in the know, we have been, on Hector's channel over here many a times, and we've been trying to line things up perfectly, and hell, the stars have aligned for this magical episode. Now, of
Yeah.
course, we have Matthew over here, Diazable Reviews, newbie. Here we are, and it's great to
Hey,
have you on here with that lovely typo negative shirt, by the way.
thank you. I'm really falling in love with typo negative these days. I've been really digging them lately, so I appreciate
Oh.
that. Yeah.
They're a perfect band to get into, and I must admit, I got into them way too late myself. So, you know, perfect little group. But for those out there who are unfamiliar with this episode and how it's really done, basically, let me give you this rundown. Live Listen Erased is a game. We are going to pick 3 albums, and from these 3 albums, we have to make a hard decision. These 3 albums we have to choose will be either one will be erased forever from existence, gone, dust, kind of like Thanos with his snap. One will be listened to forever, and that will be the album that you can never see in a live performance. And then, of course, live, the album you would see live but never listen to that one ever again. So we have a very big selection of music to make it easier. We have also got this, well, we've actually been talking in the background, I should probably add, just to say which albums we would pick. And then we would let a roulette wheel decide what is going to be our choice. So as you can see here on the screen, I hope everyone is all good. They can see this. Yep. We have many records to choose from, and I really can't wait because this is going to be an interesting episode. Is everyone ready for their 3 choices?
We are.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I am.
Let's let's do this. Let's find out the first one we're going to have on here. I should have taken bets before we started this.
Yeah. We're missing the girl.
Oi!
Ooh.
Ooh!
Puya!
Ooh.
Puya! Puya Fundamental is the first selection. That's an interesting one. Oh yeah, we'll close that one out there. What are we going for the next one? Let's see how we go. Love the little audio effects, like ding 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 ding
You
ding.
should put like the Wheel of
Makes it fun.
Fortune music.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
Confessions, Cancer.
Nice.
I like, yeah, okay. We've got a good list going here at the moment. Let's see what the last choice is for this random little wheel.
So far, one from everybody, so that's cool.
Hopefully me.
Oh, yeah. I spelt that wrong, I just saw. Bang Tango Psycho
Oh, Tango,
Cafe.
Tango.
Bango Tango's a better name.
Bango
Hey.
Tango. That is cool. All right.
Wait, it's not called Bango Tango?
No, it's Bang Tango. I just I
Oh, this whole
wrote
time in my
Tango.
head, well, listen, I was
Oh,
like,
I thought it was
Tango.
Bango Tango.
Unironically, yes, I really thought that was the name.
I thought it was Bang. I thought it said Bango Tango, and I had it in my head when I was going over these these ones. Like, oh yeah, Bango Tango. Okay, cool. So we have the 3 choices, which are going to be what have we got?
Interesting.
They're very intriguing choices.
Oh.
Every one of you got the love except for my albums, which I'm very glad
But
for as well.
your albums are so everyone knows those albums. They were like we were edgy. We've like I gotta say I really enjoyed listening to some of JC's picks, except that Ministry album. I could do that for Is It That Bad?
Whoa, Hector, me and you are
Savagery.
so opposite for reals. That Ministry
I
album was
mean,
pretty dope.
I
Oh,
fucking hated that record.
for those, I had every single selection in one playlist. It was 12 hours long because of all the albums,
it was a
and I
lot of
had it.
work.
Yeah, it was like a shuffle for a whole week of driving, and I'm just listening to this whole playlist. So let's start off with the first one, which is Puya and Fundamental. I'm glad that there was no typo when you were writing this email to me, because I thought for a second it said punta, which I believe is a different word. And
No, it's called Puta.
puta, sorry, puta. Sorry,
Yeah.
correction. My Spanish,
Yeah.
hablo no inglés, you know?
It's
If
bueno,
if
sí,
you
sí,
call
sí.
someone a punta, that's like the point of like of like a pencil or something. So no.
Oh,
It-
It's a
but
very
JC
different,
knows what that means. Yeah, it's not a good word to call
not
anyone.
a good word.
note
There
to
we go.
self,
No.
not a
YouTube's
good
already
word.
flagged this video. It's like, oh, there's just savage words just being thrown around. Puya, okay, so Puya, this is your record, Hector. Do you want to give us a rundown in regards to this album? Give the listeners an idea on this one.
So yeah, so Puya is a band from Puerto Rico. They're the first band from Puerto Rico. They played Ozfest 1999, where
Wow.
they played along Slipknot, System of a Down, Incubus, like that, all those up and coming bands, and they were one of them. And
Wow.
they're a band that they're very high praised. They're very high praised in the world because they mix like Hispanic music, like they mix salsa elements with some rap, not some rap, but some hip hop and like
There was a bit of
straight
rap.
up metal. So they were lumping. I wouldn't call them a new metal band because what they do is like truly original. And I actually, their guitar player, Ramon Ortiz, he's a great guitar player. He's got his own. I once interviewed him on the channel. He's got his
Oh,
own like instrumental record. So yeah, they were like first they were called Whisker Biscuit, and they actually opened, if I'm not mistaken, for Aerosmith.
oh
In
man.
They opened for Aerosmith in Puerto Rico, and then they did open for Guns N' Roses here in Puerto Rico, but they didn't give it a great sound. But like that's one of the bands that I've seen live the most. And this album mixes Spanish with English, but Puya, you can tell they straight up say in their song, like the song Oasis, is they say that they say proudly that they're from Puerto Rico. This is our base. This is how we do it. The bass player, Harold Hopkins, is a great bass player. He also has another band called Yeba, and it's more like reggae sounding with other things because he's a great bassist. The drummer is actually married to someone who went to high school with me.
Oh,
So
it's like the 2 degrees of separation at
yeah,
Puerto
for
Rico.
real.
yes. And the lead singer, Sergio Curbelos, he's great. He's got that like rapid fire delivery. And there was a time. So Puya, the history with Puya is they first released an album before Fundamental. I think it was called Puya. I gotta check. And then this was their first like major label release.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then after that they released Union in 2001, and after this, I think they were dropped from the label because Union didn't sell as well as Fundamental. And it's a shame because they're really good. And then they released like an EP in 2011 called Areito. And Areito is like a word from the Taino Indians from Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico, before the Spanish got here, there were some native Indians. They were called the Tainos, and that's how Puerto Rico. The name of the island beside Puerto Rico, it's called Borinquen, and Borinquen was the name that the Taino Indians gave the island. And then my heritage from Spain came, and you know what happened, and that's how the mix got. So yeah, Puya, it's good because if you listen to that album, there's like some really hard songs, like a song like Remora, which is like Remora, and it's like right in your face. But then you have a song called Trinidad, and that's about a boxer, Felix Tito Trinidad, which is one of the most beloved boxers that Puerto Rico has had. It's all about the boxer. Then you have songs that are more like funky, like whatever. They're like, yeah, whatever. So it's got a lot of like flavors, and sometimes there's like different changes in a song. You have a song like Fundamental that goes hard and then goes like straight up like salsa
Yeah,
beat
yeah, I
and
noticed that.
congas. If you never seen Puya live, they're a band to see live because they really put out a great show. And as we're filming this, they have released 2 new singles because they're releasing their first new album in more than 20 years.
Oh wow.
This year?
This year, they have 2 singles
Oh.
right now. One is called Falling Illusions, and the other is called Potencial, and the new album is gonna call Potencial. So they got together because a few years ago, Sergio left the band and they had these new kids sing, but it wasn't the same. They released a few songs here and there, but they're making their big comeback this year. And yeah,
With the original singer?
With the original singer, Sergio.
Ah.
Yeah, they got back together because they said in a statement that it just wasn't the same without him. And
Yeah.
the fans knew it. I saw them with the new singer that they had. I'm like, I'm sorry, this isn't Puya. So yeah, the history of the band, and Ramon Ortiz is one hell of a guitar player. Like Google him. Like fun fact, I tried to take some guitar lessons a few years with him, but I sucked. And I took like a few classes with him, and he has a custom made guitar. And I'm like sitting there, he's like, hold my custom made guitar. I'm like thinking, do not drop this. Do not drop this. And he's like, I've written some Puya songs with that. I'm like, So yeah, so it's a band that everyone in Puerto Rico, even if they don't like metal, they're pretty well known because
Local.
they're the only metal band from Puerto Rico to play an Ozfest.
Yeah.
Hector, can I ask a question about Puya real quick?
Yeah.
I noticed on the album cover there's like a symbol of like a sun god on it and everything. I'm not too sure if it is the sun god or not. I know my friend, he's Puerto Rican, he has the similar tattoo.
Yeah,
is it from Puya, or is it just a local thing in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, that's from the Taínos. Yeah.
Wow.
That's from the Taíno Indians because they're pretty. Puya is a band that the logo of the band is from the Indio Taínos. So yeah, that's what
right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Live Listener Race. We get a rundown on a band's history and Puerto Rico's history as well.
Wow,
I'm so glad that the Will chose this band because
yeah.
Send me a clip because I'll send it to the band. They'll be stoked.
I'm so excited because
I'm also glad that you brought this band to my attention. You know what? The first thing that's popped into my head when I was listening to this group, Santana meets metal. That influence. And for me, I was listening to this going, damn, there were some awesome hooks. I didn't know that about the whole Ozfest going on to, touring with all these big names in the industry. And yeah, the first thing I jumped to conclusion, it's new metal. I'm listening to it going, yep, new metal. But it kind of like it isn't, at the same time because of these weird blends of other styles, salsa, like you mentioned, and bit more native music. Maybe it's Puerto Rico's version of like Sepultura or something, but but it's this very interesting mix of music and a take on a scene for the time. 1999 this album was released, so I think it, like you're saying, the blend of all these interesting mixes, and also reminded me a bit of earlier Incubus as well, because they also did a lot of, they added didgeridoos, I think, for one of their tracks on a bit of an earlier album. But yeah, they mixed a lot of interesting songs. It wasn't just straight up metal. There was these other elements in it that really keeps, like you're saying, it adds flavors and makes a very interesting palette to listen to. So this is I am glad that you chose this album, and I am so glad that it also chose on the reel for this one. Yeah, but yeah, what else did everyone?
I should have worn my Puya shirt. I got a Puya shirt, but
just cross out the Nirvana one, like just write Puya above it.
Yeah.
What's everyone else's thoughts on this record? What did everyone have?
JC?
Mm.
Yeah, let me go first. I thought they were very like original. Like I've never heard another metal band that sounded like them. Like they're very unique. This is my first time listening to them. I think Hector recommended them to me a while ago, but this was actually the first time I listened to them. I mean, they were like very unique. They were like, you could call them new metal, but they were just like very heavy, but with like the salsa music. And like I've never like heard that combination. I think
Yeah.
the comparison you said to Carlos Santana, I think yeah, that was a good comparison, but they took it like a lot further. I mean,
Ramped it up.
they really like blended these two different genres that have like nothing to do with each other, and they made it work. Like they kind of like you also said Sepultura. There were times when I was reminded of like the Roots album, like something like that, but not exactly.
More
Yeah.
danceable.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was like one of the most like original like metal bands like I've ever heard, because they were just very unique. And I enjoyed the songs a lot, because I've heard that, 'cause I live in Mexico, and when I lived in New York, I used to like live in a lot of little different neighborhoods where they had like a lot of Latin American neighborhoods. So I was familiar with that type of music. So
Mm.
Yeah.
I think like mixed with metal, like I can kind of like enjoy it a little more. So I liked
And
it.
they
So that's my
actually,
thoughts on it. Yeah.
yeah, they actually played with Molotov, who's a
Oh.
Mexican
Oh, I know
band on a
Molotov. Yeah.
Yeah, I know
yeah, they
Molotov.
played with
Yeah.
Molotov on a few shows here in Puerto Rico, where it was Molotov and Puya. So yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, but Molotov that's another good. They're kind of similar, I guess. They're kind of like a rock metal
Yeah, they're more,
band.
they're from Mexico, and yeah, they got
Yeah.
like different vibes to them. But yeah, I remember that they did do shows together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting mix though, to see Molotov and Puya together. I mean, now you're reminding me that's a band that I haven't listened to in a really odd minute. Molotov, they did some great songs back in the day too.
Yeah,
Oh.
and they got a song called Puto.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that
The
one.
connection's been made.
Everything's coming together.
Hell yeah. So what about you, Matthew? What do you feel about this album?
For being the last one to talk here about it and everything, you guys touched on a lot of things that I've already thought about and everything.
Mm.
The fusion of the styles and just like all that. But the one thing that really stuck out to me that I'm surprised wasn't brought up was the production on it. It sounded really, especially that song Oasis that came in. I was just like, huh? Oh, it's 99. Granted, like some stuff from 99, it's a little rough nowadays, but some of it was really good. Like I think Slipknot to me came out, like some Korn albums sounded really good. It sounded like on that level of just like boom, we're here. I'm like, oh, this
Now that you mentioned the producer, it was produced by Gustavo Santaolalla, and he's very known he's an Argentinian composer, and he's very known to collaborate with different artists. And he even did composed music for The Last of Us. And he's very well known because there's a documentary in Spanish called Rompan Todo, which is it's on Netflix, and it's a documentary about rock music in the Hispanic like world. And I saw that, but I was pissed because Puya was snubbed from that. They didn't talk about Puya, and they also didn't talk about Robbie Draco Rosa, which is another artist. Like he used to play with Menudo, but he has his own rock band.
Menudo.
But he said that he said he had his own solo project. He didn't want to be on that. So, but yeah, that's the producer who worked on that album. And he's very well known in the Latin community.
Interesting.
There's more layers to this and everything, because like I said, yeah, that production was just on point this whole album. I was just like, this sounds freaking amazing. And then just like also I didn't realize, because me coming from Texas, San Antonio, with JC was saying, being around the Latin community throughout my life and stuff, and especially living in Korea 10 years away, I miss my Latino like culture and stuff, the vibes and everything. So listen to this, I was just like, oh, this feels like because San Antonio is
Nostalgia.
known for nostalgia, something like that, because where I'm from, San Antonio, it's a big metal city. So I felt like, oh, Latin music, aggressive metal music. This just seems like stuff that would like. I feel like if I go back home, talk to people from San Antonio, like, hey, do you know this band? They're like, yeah, dude, that's like our shit because it is so aggressive, so like balanced out with all the cultural instruments and everything. It was just a fascinating and fun listen. Like I had
Mm.
a genuine smile on the whole time I was listening. I was like, this is some good stuff.
Yeah, that's a very good way to, I guess, sum it all up as well. And yeah, I completely forgot about the production, considering, yeah, like you said, it came out in '99, the same year as Slipknot's self-titled album. I was just reading, I think it was released on Geffen Records as well. So
It was released on MCA.
MCA, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, obviously it just got the the high quality of that era, but yeah. The production definitely held up compared to a lot of other albums of that '99 era. And yeah. How did I forget to mention this?
I'm so happy to put this in my full rotation of like listening songs because there's a couple tracks in there that just go hard.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to the two new tracks. One is called Falling Illusions, and and that one goes really hard. And the other one, Potencial, it's more commercial and accessible.
Everyone's got to
Okay.
have a radio hit.
Yeah. They had to keep Geffen happy or whatever record label, MCA happy.
No, those are the new two songs for the new album that's gonna come out.
Yeah, that's what I mean for the new label or whoever they might be with. They're like,
Yeah.
please write a song that can be put on the radio. We need something
Yeah.
that sounds like Godsmack.
See,
No.
more
So-
Godsmack, more
Wishes
Godsmack.
they had the talent of Puya.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's why Godsmack never toured South America, isn't that right? Puya were doing it for him. All right, so I think that discussion is perfect for Puya there, which moves on to the next album, Confession. Was it Cancer? I think.
Yes,
What a
Confession
title!
Kids.
What a title!
Yes.
Matthew, this was your album pick. Do you want to give us a rundown in regards to the band?
Sure, of course. The one thing I noticed that when I put my picks, I put two Australian bands on, even though I'm from America, and I thought that was hilarious. And
They're from Melbourne.
yeah, and I love how both the bands I put on there are both kind of interconnected because the vocalist of this band, Confession, was the ex-vocalist of the band I Killed the Prom Queen, Michael Crafter. He was the band I Killed the Prom Queen, very big in the Australian metal and hardcore scene.
I remember them,
Thinking-
yeah.
I figured Chile might recognize these bands a little bit. They came out around 2006, early 2000s, blew up in like 2007. And then he, like right before I Killed the Prom Queen, like really blew up, Michael Crafter dipped out because he went to do, I guess, the show called Big Brother, I heard about.
Oh, not Big Brother. Fuck, was he on that? Are you
I'll bet-
serious?
He had a small stint on it for like less than a month or something. I've
Do you
never
guys
watched
know?
it.
Do you guys know what Big Brother is?
Is
Anyone?
it a show?
The reality show? Or...
I'm
Yeah,
a
the
little bit-
reality show.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah,
idea.
Yeah,
but
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Matthew, if you didn't know, it's a reality show where all these people are put into a house and they got cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, terrible
Yeah, I mean-
shows. Season one
mean-
was interesting.
Well, I mean, that was like the mid 2000s. They were doing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
like, with the VH1 show where they had the old celebrities living in the same house. They had it was the prime time for that reality show stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember he went on that show for a little bit. That's why he left the band and then did other things and disappeared for a while. But then came back with this band called Confession. And I was in university because I discovered I Killed the Prom Queen in like 2006. Listened to them, and then like 2010. I kept up with all the members in the band and just bands in general, and like, oh, Michael Crafter's coming out with a new album, a new band called Confession. And then I don't know what's maybe because I listened to this album all the time while studying for finals, while studying computer science and everything.
Wow.
And maybe that's why I just think this album is a straight 10. Like, you know those albums where you listen to where you can literally remember which song is which song, track by track, detail. This was that album for me because it's just constant straight banger after banger after banger of just moshing hard, like just hard ass music and everything. And it's a very short album, so it's really easy to listen to it on repeat. And the name of the title a lot of it has to deal with the fact that I think Michael Crafter's mother or father, someone really close, I think it was his mother, had like stage 4 cancer. I don't think
Ugh.
they survived, and so like he became a very big advocate of cancer research and just overall. Like later, they had a song that's called "Cancer," and like in the middle of the whole song, they're just saying "fuck cancer" over and over. A lot of their stuff, their merch would go to cancer research and everything. And so I think this was a
Mm.
concept album of dealing with cancer and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And also the name titles, they're all from Mad Max, the original. Like if you look at the name titles,
Oh
they're
yeah.
all
Oh, yeah.
quotes from the
I
movie Mad
remember.
Max.
I am the Knight Rider. I don't know. Is that Mad Max? I thought that
It's
was.
Some of it is a little obscure, but it's all from the original first Mad Max, not the second one, Road Warrior. It's like the original when there's like the guy, his partner Goose, and everything are in it. It's all like, and I love the first title track because it's called like "Send a Meat Truck," and
Yes.
like that's
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
of
Send the
the
meat truck. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like learning something like,
Yeah,
oh, these are
yeah.
some of the
Filmed in
Australian films.
Australia. Filmed in Australia. Mel
Yeah,
Gibson
Yeah.
early film.
for only like I think 25,000 or like $50,000, and it made like a couple $1 million. Like it's like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it's the biggest movie to ever like spend the least amount of money but made the most, I think, in history.
Yeah, it was like an indie film because they just recorded in the middle of Australia in the desert, pretty much for most of
Yeah.
the scenes. It's like,
And it
oh, do
was
we need?
before
Yeah.
Mel Gibson became Mel Gibson.
Yeah, before the
Yeah.
whole Mel Gibson saga. But yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, they just like film in the middle of the desert. It's like, do we need to close off the streets? There's no road, there's no cars here for the next 6 hours. Just do what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
Like
and most of the
I
people didn't get paid, like the stunt people, like they just like people, local bike riders, like just like,
oh
you want to
yeah.
be in this film? They're like,
Oh.
okay. Like they didn't know what they were doing until like the day of filming. So everything, it's a little bit jarring with the characters and stuff, but it's a very interesting film.
It's a yeah. I watched it for the first time a couple of years ago, and I'm like,
Oh,
what the fuck? Like, it is like a guerrilla rate. It's like a guerrilla filmed, movie. It is such a weird movie.
oh, and
Um,
a small little note, there's a part in the movie that inspired the whole Saw franchise in a way. If you know if you've seen the movie, you know.
oh yeah. I
I
think
saw
I
it
think I
so
know the
many
Yeah,
scene.
years
yes.
ago.
That would probably be the ending scene or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I
I don't want to
believe.
spoil for people who are watching, but there's something in there that watch. If you watch this movie, like it's like the people who wrote Saw, the original Saw movie, the guys, I think James Wayne and the other, I think Indonesian guy and the Australian writer, they watched this film and that's where they got the concept for Saw.
Oh yeah, James Wan. Yeah,
And
he did a whole bunch of
and
other films. Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, and
Um,
for the kids, it's not the Tom Hardy one.
no. Actually,
The
sorry, go Matt. Yeah.
I was gonna say the original Road Warrior,
Original.
yeah, guy.
Yeah, the original one. Actually, speaking of movies and such, I meant to bring this up to you, but are they fans of maybe the Dexter TV series? That album cover, it looks
Oh
like a
yeah,
Dexter. It looks like a Dexter kill room, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
it does.
I never
Yeah,
realized
'cause it has the
that.
plastic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got the whole, Dexter holding a knife, like fuck cancer, confession blaring in the background.
I can see.
Gah.
I mean, he's on TV shows and stuff. Michael Crafter, he's like the brainchild. This is his brainchild and everything. Possibly, that's a good reference.
I
Mm.
actually enjoyed Confession more than I Killed the Prom Queen.
Fair. I mean, but I Killed the Prom Queen is more on melodic and everything. That was the first band that got me into more like metal stuff with their song "Say
Yeah, I
Goodbye."
Killed the Prom Queen sounded like if Atreyu and My Chemical Romance got together.
Brutal.
And
I
I do
But
re-
I
love
like
those
the
bands.
album title, Handbook for the Recently Deceased.
yeah,
Beatles.
Yeah, it's from Beetlejuice and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some interesting tracks though. Like for a band that I knew, and while growing up, I just hadn't listened to this group.
Oh, Confession.
Actually, Confession I wasn't exactly aware of until you messaged me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm very
yeah,
curious about this because
yeah. But
Australia.
I Killed the Prom Queen is a very prominent Australian metal act. I think they're actually from Adelaide, not Melbourne, which
Yeah.
is ironically named then because I Killed the Prom Queen and Adelaide. Adelaide is synonymous for being the place where a lot of killers are born. So there's like I think it was Ivan.
Hey.
I think it's not Ivan Milat. pretty much.
So if I go to Australia, I should stay away from Adelaide.
Yeah, they say that Adelaide's famous for two things: churches and murderers. So, like,
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of churches in Adelaide. Fuck knows
But I
why.
do love churches.
Weighing up the options. Do I go with this? Well, I'll be killed in the church. At least I'll be in the holy place. But yeah, I killed the prom queen. If they are from Adelaide, like, well, Wikipedia just said, then is a interestingly titled thing. But I liked the record from, I Killed the Prom Queen, and that was a band that was very prominent during my time, obviously growing up, just around after I finished high school. I knew a lot of people who loved I Killed the Prom Queen.
Ooh.
A lot of people. So even up until just recently, one of the guys I used to work with, and I believe he told me stories of seeing this band live at like this tiny, hole in the wall type of gig scenario, like 100 people, and you can imagine the chaos and all that shit that goes down in those tiny little clubs.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ooh.
But as far as confessions goes, I think every time I had this, just to give you a rundown as well, I have the entire selection of albums on a playlist. So that's over 12 hours of music, right? And I was listening to it for the last week straight. And it's on shuffle, not going through one by one track. It was on shuffle. Every time it shuffled up a bit, I knew which tracks were Matthew's picks instantly because I just go from like Puya or Incubus to next second.
You're like, that's Matthew.
That's Matt's pick.
I wasn't too sure about the criteria.
No, there's no criteria. It's
partial.
all good. Like,
Uh,
but it just
I think it's good to pick like lesser known bands. It's more interesting.
Oh yeah. Because it'd be so funny. I'd be listening to, like, for example, one of the ones that'll be coming up next there with Bang Tango, and next second, Confessions comes up.
Well,
Like,
Confessions, I was really no one ever talks about them. I've never heard another single person talk about. So that's why I threw them there for my under.
Yeah,
for
I have a
unknown.
question, Matthew. Who is Kundalini and why does he want his hand back?
I think because it's just so precious to him. He just needs it back. Everyone needs that right hand. They need their love.
what if it's a
Yeah,
left hand?
I like the songs in the like the beach is born to run, like this is not the goose. I'm like, I think it's hilarious. But I actually think I like Confession more than the other band, actually. So yeah.
There is one track actually that really stood out to me, which was the last track. People don't believe in heroes anymore. That really stupid, that long ass title. For some reason that just kept coming up on a 12-hour playlist. This track, I swear, came up 5 times before I listened to the entire playlist. But it was, it was like, oh yeah, this song's coming on. It stood out. It was a real big standout on that album for
Compared to
me
the other
anyway.
songs and everything, yeah, it's not. It's a little bit different from the rest of the album for sure.
But Kundalini wants his hand back, so we can do the single ladies dance. Oh, single ladies, oh, single ladies. That's why. Yeah. So, all right, Hector, do you want to give your thoughts in regards to Confession album Cancer here?
So yeah, I really, it's a metalcore band, and there's just I've listened to a lot of metalcore bands, so I'm like trying to compare them. So to me, they had like a mixture of like a Hatebreed meets more like a band like what's the like if Hatebreed and A Day to Remember mix, because they had like some commercial appeal to them, but they also were hard as hell. So yeah, those long titles like The Skag and His Flossie, They're Gonna Die, they remind me of like this like by Chemical Romance, and that they have like these long titles and
yeah.
Panic
We
at the
had to
Disco,
change the name of this we had to change the name of this song, or otherwise because of our lawyers, or otherwise we would get sued. That was the name of a track from them. Yeah.
Yeah, but I really thought that this album had some great breakdowns. It was some good breakdowns. The singer was good. I liked it, and I think it's a metalcore, but it's a hard metalcore album.
It's dumb
like,
heavy. I think that's the whole point. They just wanted to be extremely stupidly heavy. And I think they
it's
did a good job
heavy.
of yeah.
It's not as heavy as something like the Akasha strain.
Oh yeah.
But it is heavy. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I like the melody in it. I think it's a very good, like, that's their first album. So I think for being a first album, it's very solid first album. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like, it's not something, I like metalcore, but there's just so many metalcore bands that
Yeah.
the only thing that I would say is that it kind of sounds dated.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, it sounds like 2000 metalcore, emo core type of thing that I'm like, this just sounds like it came from that era. And
Oh,
so it
absolutely.
can be bad or it can be good sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think musically, it's great. I didn't read that they were from Australia, and it's funny. Like man, no love for Texas bands. Matthew.
I feel bad because I feel if
all
I
the
do this episode
all
again,
his friends from hometown Texas are like, Matthew is banned.
Yeah.
You are never welcome in Texas again because you didn't pick a local band.
Yeah,
the
job for a
pressure was
cowboy
on.
is just gone out of your selection now. Yeah.
Oh, I should have put on next time. I'll put on some local bands that don't like me. There's a lot of local bands that don't like me at all. So this probably isn't helping me that I'm not putting them on. So
No. Maybe it'll help your cause to get back in the concert if you do pick them.
You should do, Matthew. You should do like a Diceable shirt, putting all those bands in the shirt and say, "Please don't hate me." And that shirt should have your 12-year-old picture on it.
Oh yeah. Do put that 12-year-old photo.
my scene look.
Please don't hate me. I'm adorable.
I'm quite adorable. What can I say?
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a solid album, and it's a band. I'm good at yeah. Yeah.
Oh fuck! What did I just dive into? Hey Matt, can you send me that photo, that profile pic, so that people out there can know what we're referencing?
We'll put it
Yes,
in
now
right.
we have to show that.
We'll put it up right about here.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
but
Everyone's
you know
like, what the fuck are these guys losing it for? Like,
Yeah, no, it has to be shown. But you know
Yep.
what? I like that a lot of the bands, the picks, the only albums I knew were all Chili's picks. Hey, I'm like, he went safe.
I went
Because,
safe.
like,
Yep.
yeah, I think we, the other three of us, we went like with more like obscure stuff, like for it to be interesting. Don't get me wrong, I like Limp Bizkit still sucks, but but I don't think Limp Bizkit needs more exposure.
No, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Matthew's. I enjoyed those picks from him, and I think Confession, out of his picks, I think Confession was. There was another band that I actually liked, For the Falling. I like that album a lot, and Confession.
Okay.
But yeah, but interesting. So yeah, I would say it's an interesting record for sure.
Yeah. What about you, JC? What are your thoughts on this album?
Yeah, I like the whole band. Not a big metalcore guy. It's not one of my go-to genres, but I think I liked all of his picks. But I will say, I think maybe this one was the one I liked. Like, I would rank it number 4 out of his 4 picks. Like, I'd probably like, I found it like the least memorable for some reason. Like,
It's
it didn't.
confession.
It didn't like stick with me as much as some of the other ones. Like there were, I wouldn't say which ones I liked, but I mean there were some bands of his picks that I liked a lot. This one was good. It's not bad, but I think it's like when you listen to so much metalcore, sometimes it kind of like sounds the same. So
it all bleeds together.
Like it kind of blends together. So for me, it's just okay. That's really all I'm gonna say about it. Yeah. It was okay.
It was okay. A man of very simple to the point there, and
short and sweet.
I appreciate.
Baby. We love it.
Yeah, that's it. I think you're right on the money there, JC. Like, maybe this is a reflection of me and my upbringing. I was born and upbringing on thrash metal, so for me, listening to this arena core, as I like to call it, is Yeah, it exists, huh? You know, it's
It's
not my
there.
yeah, it exists. I guess it's like looking at it as new metal, started to come up and rise up when people of the 80s were listening to music and they looked at it and they went, "Oh, what the hell is this?" And here I am, I've been born and raised on like thrash metal and new metal, and then I start looking at arena core or whatever, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, what the hell is this?" It's not my go-to pick. Let me put it that way. There are very few songs that I'll come run into in this field. And to be honest, Confession, which I wonder if they took their name from the Usher album of the same title, but
These are my confessions. It,
um,
it would have been funny if they had like a cover of Confessions. I got my
oh,
girlfriend on
could
the
you
side pregnant.
could you imagine a metalcore version of that? That'd be intriguing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was out of Matthew's four picks. What this was the second heaviest one. I think out of all three of us, we know which one was the heaviest. But
The Sasha
the
strain.
yeah, baby, and yeah, out of all the four picks, yeah, look, this one wasn't. Look, like I said, it was a really good track with the last one. People don't believe in heroes anymore, which was a bit of a different sound compared to the rest of the album as well. And that's I guess giving you an outline on how I feel about the album. Yeah, it's fine. It's got some decent songs there, but it didn't really do it for me.
Mm.
And actually, I just want to bring up a little weird point here, but you were mentioning that the singer was on Big Brother reality show. And there's actually another Aussie band that was on a reality show, but they made the entire show for their band. And what they
Ooh.
did, this is a band called Regurgitator, if anyone's curious. And yeah, I should have picked, actually, I'm going to pick Regurgitator next time. But Regurgitator, they kind of, there's no way to describe them perfectly. They're very weird, but they put a glass cube in the middle of Melbourne CBD, and the band lived there for a whole month, and they would record an album and basically video the whole process, and fans were allowed to come up to that glass cube, watch them do whatever. They could even drop in, like, there's a little sliding box, they could drop in tapes or whatever, notes or something, for inspiration for the band.
Yeah. Did
So
you go there
I think
and
I've heard of this
no,
before.
like I would go there and slip them a note like say like you suck.
I just put a fart bomb in there, you know.
You
Like your
stink.
band sucks. And
Oh
they're like
man.
banging the glass and you're like, no, you can't do anything about it.
Actually, they got some really weird song. If you want weird song titles, check out check out
Regurgitate.
Regurgitator's song titles. What is it? Like I would piss on your anyway. I can't remember. I'm not going to go for it, but that's just a weird comparison. I guess that you mentioned that he was on reality TV, and then I just suddenly remembered Regurgitator made a whole TV show about them in a reality TV way during that whole rise of the reality shows.
Mm.
So yeah, as far as Confessions goes, I mean, it's a decent effort. Out of your selections, probably not well, definitely not my favorite. But I didn't know that about the Australian part, so maybe I should be just barred from the
Yeah.
country and deported. So,
Yeah,
for
now
not
you're
knowing
gonna
my
be on the
history.
list of Australian bands that hate chili.
Yeah, yeah. We'll add that to, the other ones and the other bands that really do hate me, like Kid Rock and Thor, and what was the other one?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Kid
uh,
Rock's far away. You need hate from your local bands, the
You
bands
do.
that especially if they live near you. That if you're walking on the street and they'll walk up to you and like, you shit on my album.
yeah, I'll just be on the news for next time, like local podcast that
Yeah,
gets in punch up with
There-
band member.
because yeah, there's a band from Puerto Rico that I'm not going to interview because I put them last
Ooh.
year on my top 10 bad albums.
Oh,
Calamity, I'm looking at you.
Same thing happened to me.
All right,
Oh.
now, I think that's a perfect way to wrap up that album. Sorry,
Yeah,
Calamity.
let's
Sorry,
play the one
Calamity.
that
You're
you
not on this
mispronounced.
list. You're not on the list, Calamity, but you'll get erased either way. The last one we have is Bang Tango. What an interesting name for that. Now, this one is JC's pick. And I've got to see now. I know why I wrote Bango Tango was because um, my phone kept auto correcting it. It kept typing Bango Tango. Now, JC, this was your pick, and I've got to ask you,
Yeah.
well, two things. I'm so glad this one came up so I can say this joke. What is with this well, this band here, what do we got? 1989 Psycho Cafe with the album cover that looks like a Pearl Jam knockoff band that was named after a Ted Nugent song.
No.
like-
They look like a
Oh, the
glam
Mango
metal.
Tango.
They look like a glam metal grunge band.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Tell us about Bang Tango and Psycho Cafe, JC.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah. So this album came out 1989, and that's like the year I started getting into metal. You know, I was around, like, I started with like Guns N' Roses and with Appetite, and then I started listening to more bands. Now this was a point in time, 1989, so I was like about 18 years old, and I used to watch a lot of like Headbangers Ball on MTV. So
When
I
to
would
play
like watch that every
music.
Saturday night. Yeah. So I discovered this band there. Um, it's a band they were kind of unique because they're like glam metal, but they have like a funk rock kind of sounds, almost like a little bit of like almost like a Red Hot Chili Pepper sound in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
Faith No More
I thought
too.
they were really good. And
Oh,
this
yeah.
first album is yeah, this first album is like really good. They had a second album that actually I also have on CD called Dancing on Coals, which I didn't think it was that good, but I thought this album is solid. It had the hit was called Someone Like You.
Yeah.
You know, that one had like the music video and all that. But then they had some like power ballads, like the acoustic song. I think it was like Just for You, that one.
Mm.
And then like other stuff. It sounded more like maybe like Skid Row, Guns N' Roses, but they had that like that unique sound. So it's really a great debut. I was it's just a debut I've always liked, but I had the second one. I didn't like the second album, and then I kind of forgot about them. So I think they released a few more albums, but I never like heard them. So I kind of like it's one of those bands that you listen to like the first album, and then like that's like the only one you like.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a unique band, something that people don't talk about much anymore.
Mm.
You know, they were kind of big at the time in the late '80s, but they're one of those bands that kind of like gets forgotten about, I think. Yeah.
Missed over during the
Yeah.
going over in particular of the 80s era. I mean, there's so many bands to cover as well, around that time period.
Yeah.
And for the mix, like you said, I definitely was going to say, this reminds me of Guns N' Roses meets Red Hot Chili Peppers because of that
Yeah.
funk element to it. There is a lot of
Skid Row too.
Yeah, it was like that.
there's a lot of weird mixes in there, and
Yeah.
like it's really odd, I guess, because of many aspects on that point there. Did they open for Guns N' Roses at all? I feel like they would have put, maybe toured or something with them.
I don't know. I mean, probably. I mean, it's like kind of like
I want to say
I
because
see
if
them
they
tour.
opened
I'm
for
like
them,
looking at their page. Look at the tour with Cheap Trick, LA Guns, Rat,
LA
Lost
Guns.
Boys. Like they were part of that whole like glam metal scene, even
Yeah.
though their sound was like a little different.
I kind of
Like
thought that.
I think I
Sorry.
think they like just like missed like the wave, like
Oh yeah,
because they
Maybe
came
too
out like a
late.
little bit too late.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Guns N' Roses was pretty much at the end
Yeah.
of it. That was the death rattle with Appetite for Destruction.
It came out in like
Yeah.
1988 or
Nine.
1989.
Yeah.
This was right after the turn of the 90s. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
bit on the nose on that one. Yeah, especially, I mean, for the type of music they're also writing about, it was definitely, I guess, over the hill. And it was also a bad time because, bands like, someone's t-shirt over there were starting to rise up and, take over.
Jane's Addiction started in the 80s as well. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. You had Soundgarden as well, who were starting to make waves for themselves around about this time.
Alice in
Pixies.
Chains, yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Pixies.
Yeah. They're for me an underrated gem. I don't listen to them enough, but Psycho Cafe, yeah, what an interesting pick in regards to that one. Matthew, let's go with you first in regards to
Oh.
your thoughts on this album. Yeah, I thought I'd mix this one up. I'm like, hopefully I can get everyone.
Oh, all right. I'll start things off. Out of all of JC's picks and everything, um, wouldn't say this is like my least favorite or my favorite. It's kind of in there because, like you said, like like a bit of glam, that Skid Row, like Guns N' Roses vibes and everything. I hear it and everything, and maybe my perspective might be a little bit weird because I think this album came out before I was born.
Okay.
So like a lot of the music, like I know a lot of older music stuff through family and friends and everything. So I don't know, like my take on this might be like I might not like it as much, but maybe because I didn't grow up with it, so it's something
But you
I
love
might have missed.
Tattooed Millionaire.
Mm,
You're
I
making us
did
you're making us
same
feel
time.
real young on this panel here.
You covered the album on your channel. You did a reaction video. You secretly love it. You
He's-
need Tattooed Millionaire. You
hypocrite.
want Tattooed Millionaire.
I have to cover everything I listen to. What can I say? New and old for everyone.
Do it for the fans.
I
Only the
got to, I
fans.
got to. I'm here for the people. And I would say Bingo Tango, like the one thing that got me that I felt like held the album back a little bit was the vocals. I wasn't a big fan of the vocals. The instruments, the arrangement of the songs weren't that bad, but it was really hard for me to get past the vocals.
Mm.
Like they just were not the most enjoyable. But I like the music
Yeah,
itself.
there were those like higher range. Yeah.
Oh,
I guess I haven't found too many bands where I like a higher registering voice,
Mm.
but I always like to try and find something good about a band or an album. And like I said, like I like the guitar work, the drumming's really good and everything. It's just the vocals were like just distracting me a little bit. And I really enjoyed the last song, Sweet Little Razor. I feel like maybe since it's the last track, maybe a lot of people won't listen to it, but I really like that song for some reason because it had some really good like that's what it is. I think it had some like some other kind of like I wouldn't say tribal drums, but like bongos or something, but some other kind of like drums in there that really like just sounded gave the song a little bit more oofness, more heaviness. Not say heavy, but just made it feel more fleshed out.
Mm.
But overall, Bingo Psycho Cafe. It is very, very, very interesting listening to this album.
Being diplomatic there. Hey, if you don't like high registry vocals, you probably shouldn't listen to Merciful Fate. Just saying.
Or King Diamond. Yeah.
King Diamond, yeah.
I will listen to anything, doesn't matter what, even if I don't like it. That my whole goal of this, of YouTube and all this, never
Oh,
pass up on anything.
He's laying down the
Yeah.
gauntlet,
He covered
people.
Beyonce on his channel.
Oh shit! There's the gauntlet laid down. I ain't gonna.
I don't
I'm
even
gonna
like
take that
Beyonce.
challenge.
I'm let me suffer. Give me a recommendation. Anything. I will listen to it. Nothing's off limits here.
Saint Anger.
Oh, hot take. That's literally my favorite Metallica album.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Are you fucking kidding
Only because it was the first one I ever really listened to.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
I
God.
know. I know.
Matthew,
Oh
Matthew, you
no.
need Metallica therapy, man.
Oh
No,
jeez.
Like I said,
Fuck.
for me personally, it's like one of my top favorites, but I know it's not the best.
Oh,
But I will
damn.
say that
Okay, okay.
the nostalgia, that was the first one I listened to. I can't get it. I can't separate it.
I gotta admit, I'm not gonna say it's a terrible album. I won't say it's their best, but I grew up listening to Saint Anger too. I do rate it.
If I didn't listen to Sing Air, I wouldn't listen to the Black Album, wouldn't for Master of Puppets, all that.
Yeah,
It was my
okay.
gateway.
It was your gateway. Give him credit,
At
everyone. It was
least he
his
didn't say
gateway.
Lulu.
I'll
No,
be honest about
oh,
my
yeah,
opinions
yeah,
always, even if they're
Yeah.
bad hot takes. I'll be honest about it at least. Come on.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. What about you, Hector? What are your takes on definitely
So-
not Saint Anger, but Psycho Cafe?
No. I already talked about that. So, Bang Tango, you know what? I think they should have renamed the band to Bango Tango. That's more of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's
a
so much better.
catchiness.
It's a better
Like a
name.
catchiness to them. So when I saw, oh, there's a typo. What typo? So I gotta say, JC's picks were really interesting because every
Oh,
pick
yeah.
was different.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish
Eclectic
the
as
wheel-
hell.
Very
eclectic as
oh, I
hell.
love it.
because I knew, okay, this is Matthew, but But Jay-Z's ones, like I really was like, because they were all different. I really, I would have wished that the wheel would have picked Scatterbrain.
Oh yeah, Scatterbrain was
Scatterbrain.
another one.
I'm like, I
Bro.
can't believe I never listened to this band. And
Yes.
then yeah, they had a song on Encino Man. So
On what?
Oh,
out
that
of
tracks. That
Jay-Z's
makes sense.
yeah,
On
out of
what?
Jay-Z's picks of Encino Man, not Bang Tango, the other band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scatterbrain.
Scatterbrain, yeah.
I think they're
They
from
had a song
California too.
on Encino
Scatterbrain.
Man.
Ah,
That makes
ah.
Because I googled the bands to know more about them.
Okay,
But
I didn't.
no, I did
I
my
ran out of
homework.
time.
I'm like if I know JC, I gotta do my history.
Mm.
So yeah, out of the picks, actually, the one that I liked the least was that damn Ministry album. So yeah, but Bang Tango, I thought it was interesting because they're like, at first I like you hear the first song and they're like, yeah, this is glam metal. It sounds like a combination of well, Skid Row, but if you look at the picture of the album cover, they kind of look like Poison. And it's what's the name of the Nelson Brothers or something like this? Because they're all like, and you know, and some of them, I'm like, damn, they look more attractive than women. They're like, but it's, you know, it's the 80s and they're all like glammed up.
Androgyny.
Yeah, but I thought, you know, they have a song called Breaking Up a Heart of Stone. And that's like, you know, they have some cheesiness to them, but they have the type of cheese that I like. It's accessible cheese. I think I like that.
Where is
they
your
were-
pack of cheese when you need it, eh?
Yeah, no, I don't have it here. I think they were funky and yeah, I got like a lot of you said Red Hot Chili Peppers, but there was a lot of like a Faith No More, but if Faith No More was more glam.
Early
Because
Faith No More.
yeah, and Faith No More released The Real Thing in 1989 as well.
Yes.
So
Mm.
maybe
Around
I
the same time,
think I
They
think
did have
maybe-
another album out before though, We Care a Lot, which was like 1985,
Yeah, and
which was with the original singer.
we're going full circle.
Actually,
because,
Courtney Love was the original,
yes,
was the
she
singer
was
at
the
one
first
point.
single by
Yeah,
Faith No More.
What?
you didn't know that, Matthew. Courtney Love was the singer of Faith No More at one point,
And she
Yeah.
also dated Billy Corgan.
and she
Okay,
yes,
I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I knew.
with-
Yeah.
and yeah.
What?
And
Yeah,
she
but
also
then-
she
yeah.
did heroin with the drummer from NoFX when he used to do heroin, and said you are the worst person to do heroin with, which is quite something to say from her.
Yeah. Oh, Courtney
But
Love,
going
yeah.
back to Bang Tango.
Yeah.
So Bang Tango, yeah, I think maybe they weren't as JC said that they were kind of big, but not because I think maybe they put out the album like right at the turn of like when the music changed, and maybe they were too like glam and not enough funk to have made that crossover, because Red Hot Chili Peppers
yeah.
made the crossover, Faith No More made the crossover,
Yeah.
but Bang Tango, I've never heard from them.
No,
And
no.
when I was when I first saw JC Speaks names, I'm like, oh my god, what is this name?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but I'm glad I listened to it because I enjoyed it. I don't think it would be the type of music that I would listen to all the time. It really sounds of their time. You know, it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
has that 80s nostalgia thing. But yeah, it's funky, but it also has the ballads. I don't know, the ballads kind of remember me like a funkier Extreme and Saigon Kick,
Okay.
which were
Yeah.
were other bands from those eras. But yeah, I think at that time with the change of music, probably it was like they got too late to the party. We're here to
They missed the
Bang
mark a bit
Tango.
as well.
And people are like, no,
Just a smidge.
we like depressive music now.
Give us some 9 Inch Nails, god damn
Give
it.
us some
Give me some type of
flannel.
negative.
Yeah.
We're
Oh.
sorry, Bang Tango. You're 5 years too late.
Yeah.
I think Typo was actually Carnivore back in the day. If it
Yeah,
was
they started. Yeah,
1989.
it was Carnival before that. Before, yeah.
Very different.
Oof.
But yeah, it's a very interesting album. Definitely, I like the variety in it, because sometimes when I first heard the name and started singing, I thought I was gonna be glam metal all the time, and then when I heard the funkiness, I was like, whoa, I didn't expect this. So I was pleasantly surprised with that. So yeah,
Okay.
those are my thoughts on Bang Tango.
Bang Tango, eh? Bang Tango
And
does the
Psycho Cafe. You know, this is a missed opportunity. The album should have been called Bango Cafe.
oh,
Oh,
or
Bang,
Sir. It should have been called
Bang
Sir.
Cafe.
It should have been. Oh wait, no, that came out a bit later. I was going to say it should have been called Sir Psycho Cafe because Red Hot Chili Peppers did a song, but that was off Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Sir
Yeah.
Psycho Sexy. Anyway, Bang Tango does the fandango here with an intriguing little mix, I guess, and I gotta say, now you mention it, actually, yeah, there were a fair few ballads, and the ballads for me, they really lost my interest listening to it. You know, it was like a nosedive. It was like Poison, but
Yeah.
without that Poison vibes. They're trying to do something here with their mixture of other sounds, and I reckon maybe it was the ballads that probably didn't help them. If they disregarded the ballads, maybe, and just focused on other efforts like
The
Faith No More,
funkiness.
you know, yeah, like Red Hot Chili Peppers or more Faith No More in that respect, they might have done something a little bit more differently. But then again, their focus was primarily that glam metal scene. So, you know, it was, yeah, sure, it brought in elements of other stuff, but glam metal is the center of, you know, this album. And looking at the album cover, like you said, it's very androgynous, and I'm, you know, looking at the pictures, just going, "Oh, are these? Oh, okay. You know,
oh,
I've been catfished." You know,
what's going on here?
So I gotta say, out of
You would have
JC,
dated someone from Bang Tango.
oh yeah, I would have been like, you know, I
And
thought
it's
it was,
like, you know, I'm a dude, right? And
yeah,
you'd
it's
be
like,
like, what?
shut up.
Shh, no one has to know.
You know what? For some reason, I had in my mind when I was looking at this album cover, I thought because I didn't Google any of these bands, right? All the bands that I didn't know from this list. No, I wanted to leave it as a very pure reaction, find
Mm.
out what people were going to say about these, and then give my, you know, like, oh, this band had such a connection, you know, type of moment. So I kind of had the feeling when I was looking at this album cover, and I'm looking at it just thinking, JC's going to drop something about this one, like, oh yeah, the one of the singers or the guitarist, he ended up joining up Steel Panther, and I felt like there was this connection because you're looking at it and you're like, these are nice looking people here, and they kind of almost got that vibes of Steel Panther because they've been around for a long time. They've been doing like covers for years before Steel Panther was a band. And
Really?
yeah, Steel Panther, like they were a covers band or something beforehand, I think. They had a history. That's why they can play so well. And
Ah,
yeah, they didn't just start, you know. And obviously they got this awesome thing about them. But yeah, I kind of felt like there was gonna be this connection that I wanted to be true, I guess. You know?
you wanted some lore.
I wanted something in this regards, like, oh
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
something interesting about Bang Tango? They were also signed to MCA, just like Puya.
Ah.
Mm,
Okay, there's the connection. I like that one.
yeah.
But yeah, as far as JC's picks went, this one was interesting, but there were definitely some more intriguing ones I remember with the look, it wasn't as bad as the Ministry one, I'll say that, but the other two were much more stronger as well. But yeah, JC had some very interesting selections for albums that I had never heard of or listened to, I should say. I'd heard of, you know, one or two of these albums, but yeah, listening to them was definitely a trip. And this one was a trip for sure.
Yeah. I'm
Mm.
just reading something here that Bango Tango Psycho Cafe landed at number 37 for Rolling Stone's 50 greatest hair metal albums of all time list.
Wow.
Arr?
Yeah, it was pretty big at the time, you know, like it had its moment, and
Okay, I had its moment in the sun.
it was on MTV.
37, that's kind of
Oh,
high.
and
That's
we
massive.
have a Corey Taylor connection too.
Oh, fuck off. What is it?
Corey Taylor listed Bango Tango's Someone Like You as a part of his ultimate 80s rock mixtape list, featured on Team Rock.
Wow.
So
Okay.
now we know why he made that crappy album.
Yeah, CFM2 or whatever it is. Yeah, he's doing his Bango Tango moment.
I still have not listened to those albums. Oof.
Yeah, don't listen to that one. Yeah, if
I'm
that
here
was
to
on the list.
suffer.
Yeah.
Make me
Phew,
suffer,
make
damn
me.
it.
Oh, that's Satomachism, I hear.
Yes.
We will prepare a list for you if you are feeling that way inclined.
Dude, absolutely. Bring it on.
Oh, done. There we go, people. That'll be the next one we'll come up with. It'll be just like the worst albums we can think of. Go and listen to these. Oh my gosh. JC, did you want to add some final notes to, I guess, Bang Tango?
Yeah, I think it's they're one of those bands like you had to be like around at the time to kind of know them because they were kind of popular, but then they kind of like disappeared. Their second album called Dancing on Coals was released in 1991, but I think by that time,
Yeah.
this type of music was dead. And I have this one on CD, and I actually never liked it. It was like one of those albums that like wasn't that good, but I always thought this debut album was really good. So
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
so
they
yeah,
have
I thought
the
I
sophomore
still think it's a
jinx.
great debut. Yeah, but the second album wasn't good. Yeah,
Yeah, Sophomore Slump or something.
yeah, Sophomore Slump. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Oof.
that's interesting to guess. Yeah, like you say, you have to go through that era as well. That really helps. I know a lot of people who just shit on new metal never grew up with it, so that's definitely another thing. So I guess it comes down to the final section of the whole list, people. We have the 3 albums here with 3 choices to be made. So, yes, to go over again, we listen live. We see this whole live is going to be listening to this whole album once in full by the band and never heard again. We are then going to, of course, listen to one forever, and we are going to erase one forever. Let's see. Let's kick it off with JC. What would you be picking out of these 3?
Okay. Well, I think as far as listening, I'm sticking with my pick, Bang Tango. It's it's just like a part of like the heavy metal, like one of my first albums that I started listening to when I started listening to metal. So Bang Tango is going to be my listen. And as far as live, definitely Puya. They sound like they have like a great live show. So I think that's gonna be my live, and that's gonna lead me to erasing the Confession Cancer album, which is because it's a metalcore album, and I'm pretty sure there are lots of other albums that sound just like it. So that's why I'm erasing Cancer. But
Yes, he erased
yeah.
cancer. It's gone.
Yay! Thank you, JC.
JC's done it. JC's cured
It's
cancer.
a cure.
That's all it took.
Oh my God, we're getting so demonetized.
Yes.
Absolutely. Worth it.
Oh no, that's okay. So yeah, you'd erase Confessions cancer. Oh man, Hector, what about you? What would you do in this list?
So I have actually seen Puya live so many times that I would say I would still listen to their music, but I've seen them so many times that if I don't see them live ever again, I'm okay. But yeah, I agree with JC. They're a great band to see live. But I would listen. I wouldn't want to listen to see them at a show and never listen to their music because they have a new album coming out and I want to listen to it. So I like listening to Puya. So the band that I would see live once and never hear again would be Bang Tango, because I think I would love to get on like a Back to the Future and go to the past and see that band in their heyday in 1989.
1.2 gigawatts.
Yeah, would it be interesting to see that band in their heyday and probably like go and see everyone dressed in the public and trying to figure out who are the
What's
dudes
going
and who are
on?
the chicks.
Dude looks like a lady.
So, and I think it would be a great live show. I'm wondering, JC, did you ever see them live back in the day?
Actually, no, I never seen him live. No.
Yeah. So I
No.
think they would be a
Yeah.
good band to see live,
Yeah.
just because I would want to see how that music translates live.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, Matthew, we're destroying your childhood here, but we're erasing. This is my confession. I'm erasing confession cancer because it sounds like a lot of metalcore that I listen to all the time, and yeah. I'm sorry, Matthew, but
Erase my university days. It's all good. It's all good.
There goes the computer
I
studies.
had to do it to you because you said that Songbird by Oasis is bad, so
Yeah.
I took it personal.
Payback.
So I'm erasing
Fair.
confession cancer. Yeah, those are my picks.
Okay. Okay. Matthew, what about you? What would you pick out of these three?
All right, I'll just get this out the way. I would erase Confession by Cancer as well.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it's a band I love. It's music I would love and everything. But I might have a better chance of seeing it at some point in life. Then the other two choices are more just something really out of out of the box for me. And I like things that are
Wow.
really different in my life, things that change things up. So as much as I have never seen Confession, I would love to see them, but I would have to erase in this with these three in this scenario. I'd erase it. And
But if you erase them, how can they play live?
Nate.
Conundrum. Created a wormhole situation here.
Oh no, but that's it's fine because I would see Bang Tango live.
Okay.
Just because like it's so outside of my wheelhouse. Like just like if I didn't know think about if going back in time, I thought like seeing it right now. But if I could go back in time, see him right there and there for that hour or two watching, that'd be really fun, interesting. So because this point in my life, I like things that are just not what I normally would do. That's where things are more interesting. I've seen bands that are similar to Confession. Why would I want to see something I've already seen before? Bang Tango is completely out of my wheelhouse that I probably would, in some weird way, probably like, I don't know if I enjoy this, but still have a good time. Or this is awesome. I'm going to have a good time. And no matter what, I think I'd have a good time. And it just would be really interesting to see it live for sure. And Puya got that great production. Not going to lie. That production be banging. So I can listen to a lot, and also the variety of different music and everything. It's like you're getting two bands at one if you listen to Puya. So it's like
2 for 1.
It's a 2 for 1. You can't, BOGO, buy one get one free. Can't go wrong with that. And yeah, no disrespect to my choice or anything, Confession, but yeah, erase that. Listen to some new stuff. Watch stuff live that's different, and just enjoy different things.
That was a complete left-hand choice there. I was not expecting. You are keeping it fresh up in this biatch, you know?
Yeah, like why be yourself? Be fun, be different.
Be different.
I always like to say, try anything once. I've never listened to like that, like Bango Tango live. Try it once.
Okay.
Bang Tango.
Bang Tango.
Bango Tango forever in my mind. That's
No,
Bango Tango.
it's stuck now. He's just going to get the tattoo of the band, Bango Tango. That's it.
Don't
it's going to be
tempt me.
next to his tattooed millionaire one. So, as for me, I guess, looking over the list, I would definitely listen to Puya. I think this is an album that, I could definitely listen to a lot more times, find it very enjoyable. It's a solid album, great production, amazing songs on offer. Never did I, when I was going through shuffle playlists, find any boring tracks here. Every song was just amazing. So I think, Puya's record there with Fundamental was amazing, and I would definitely listen to it again. It sucks because, it sounds like they're this amazing live band, but if I were to see them live, then I couldn't listen to the music again. And out of all the selections, Puya was one of those albums that I actually ended up saving because I thought it was that good. I added it to my library. I'm like, damn, this is a good album. Saving this one, So yeah, I would definitely be listening to Puya. As far as Erase goes, I'm going to erase Bang Tango.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just Look,
Whoa.
yeah, for me, it's a bit of
They're
a.
looking like him, like
Yeah, this guy wants to keep cancer. Fuck that guy.
What?
Yeah. Unsubscribe. My number's just dwindling. Yeah, for me, Bang Tango just really didn't click with me. I think it was an interesting album. It definitely has some moments, but it kind of feels a bit like, I don't know, a car that's almost stalling out going up a hill because, you know, if glam metal was that hill, it was just really cusp going down. And it I guess, like you say, JC, you had to be in that time. I unfortunately
Yeah.
wasn't. I was a very, very little infant around this time. So
Mm.
for me, this was not my era. Although I do love a lot of 80s music. But yeah, Bang Tango just kind of, I don't know, there was something missing there. And I don't think I can really describe it too well, which would obviously leave for me to listen to Confession, Cancer, because I just feel like if you go to a concert like this, back in the day as well, little hole in the wall spot, 100 people, sometimes those are the best concerts that you can go to because, you know, yeah, you can be part of a 15,000 people arena or whatever more, and it's cool. But when you are in a small gig with like 100 people in there and going nuts, it's much more intimate, better sound. You know, you can reach up and touch the band and stuff like that. And it's just such a cool gig. So I've seen a few metalcore bands, but I haven't seen them in a very small, intimate scenario.
Mm.
So I'd be like, oh yeah, this could be really cool. And you know, there's a few tracks there that I would love to just, you know, you hear that China cymbal. You're like, oh crap, everyone's gonna die. So yeah, it's certainly one of those things,
you're
I
like,
guess.
these are my confessions.
I thought this was an Usher concert.
You thought wrong,
You're like, where's Usher? You remind me of a girl that I once knew.
So these are my decisions, I guess, in regards to the three that are on there. And people, I would love to see your comments as well. What would
Ooh.
you erase, and which one would you listen to forever, and which one would you see live and once only? Comment below and make sure to tell us, as well as giving us your
Puya
opinions.
survived.
Yeah, tell us
Where
below. So thank you everyone for making it onto this episode. Make sure to go and check out their channels as well. JC Rock and Metal Reviews. Thank you for coming on. Make sure to go check out his channel. He is a plethora of information in regards to all the stuff that he comes out with in his reviews. So JC, thank you for coming on board for our little live listen to race episode. And heck,
Thanks for having me.
sorry, there was a little pause there. I'm like, I hope he gets this.
Yeah.
Matthew as well. Thank you for coming on. Go check out his channel. Am I saying this right? Diazable Reviews. Is that how you pronounce it?
Diazable, pretty much the same
Diazable,
thing.
tomato,
Yeah.
tomato, you know, Confessions, Cancer, whatever.
You're talking about it.
Same, but you know, yeah, go check out Matthew's channel, Diazable Reviews. Also go over to his Instagram because he sells a lot of interesting shirts, got some cool designs. I love your one with the Diazable word with the hate breed flames coming off. That was wicked.
That was literally the most hated shirt I've ever had. Oh,
hated.
thank
Oh
you for
my. No,
That's- I
really,
I gotta buy a
people
shirt, man.
were
I
people
gotta buy
commenting
one
and
of
be
these
like,
shirts.
"Fuck you, this is not hate breed."
They're just like, I'll go buy a real hate breed shirt. Like, why
Oh,
would
get
you
the
rip
fuck
hate
out
breed?
of here, Jesus.
Bands do it all the time. So I was like, oh, if bands do it and people
Yeah.
do it, oh, like homage to the people who I like. But
Ah, fuck that. Don't worry about that. I will buy that shirt. I gotta buy that shirt. I
gracias,
love that one.
gracias. Hate
So-
breed for the win, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't love hate breed? I mean, jeez. Well, I guess
You
half
should
of it's
do
the
a
name.
new shirt saying why I don't like Songbird by Oasis.
So many reasons to write down for that.
You're giving me ideas for what I should do when I make my own shirts, and I'm just going to put YouTube comments for like the most negative comments I've ever had about the channel,
Yeah.
and I'll just do
Oh.
it on my shirt.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I only have
I'm
one
buying
shirt.
now.
My shirt is my logo, and only 3 people have bought it, I think.
Slow and steady. That's all that
Hey,
matters. slow and
that's
steady.
3 more people than you had last year. So,
Correct, yeah.
And of course, Hector, it's great to put you on this channel again for another episode of Live Listener Race. This time without Godsmack, and I'm surprised you didn't erase them this time around. So thank you for that.
No, I've erased them so many times.
Yeah,
that,
we've done it. What is it? 2, 3, I don't know, 100 times.
I even did a short video where I said, and someone asked like, what do you mean you erased them? They cannot be erased. I'm like, we clearly did. And he was like so pissed off. I'm
Oh,
like,
yes.
dude, it's a show. We're
Yeah.
making fun. And he's like, well, you're erased and that dude is erased.
That's one of the guys I would love to get that comment. Erase this channel. It's like like reviews from Yelp or something about my podcast. Reasons to watch the channel. Erase this channel. He's a dickhead. But Hector, thank you for coming on as well for this episode. It's
My
good
pleasure,
to have
man.
you. And everyone, thank you again for coming on board. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode. And of course, join us again for the next one, which will be out in a couple of weeks' time as well. Everyone, take it easy. Stay spicy out there. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.